All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Exercises Medicine Wellness webinar. My name is Kelly Urse, and I am an exercise specialist with the program and a wellness program coordinator. I am happy to host this webinar today with my friend and former colleague, Angela Blackstone. I'll introduce her formally here in just a second. I do want to talk just for a minute about the Exercises Medicine program. So in case you don't know what it is, or you want to tell your family and friends about Exercises Medicine, Exercises Medicine is actually a global health initiative where primary care physicians and other healthcare providers are encouraged to include physical activity in their prescriptions and treating treatment plans for chronic disease or general health maintenance, a variety of health conditions. So we do require a physician referral to participate in the program. It's a 12-week program, including 2 one-on-one sessions where you'll work with an exercise specialist to personalize a fitness plan and set up specific goals for you to meet your health goals. And then you'll have 16 supervised group sessions twice a week for 8 weeks at one of our 7 locations around Central Ohio. And we do one final one-on-one session to compare biometrics, look at outcomes, and set goals moving forward. There is a $200 out-of-pocket cost for the program. We are eligible for flexible spending and health savings dollars. If you happen to work for OSU and have an OSU health plan, you get those lifestyle dollars. We are eligible for those types of funding as well. And then our OSU health plan will reimburse 50% of the cost of the program if you complete it. So if you'd like more information about the Exercises Medicine program, you can send an email to the Exercises Medicine email address there on this slide, or you can go to our website to review the information about our program. So that is Exercises Medicine. So we're happy that you've chosen to join us this evening. Angela and I were going to be talking about planning for healthy summer travel. So we'll jump in here. I just want to introduce formally Angela Blackstone. She is a dietitian. She's been with OSU for over 20 years and currently works with the OSU Family and Community Medicine at the Pickerington and Gahanna locations. So Angela, thank you for taking your time tonight to be with me and present on this topic.
Great, thanks, Kelly. I'm super excited to be here joining Kelly tonight to talk about some strategies to make your summer travel healthier. So when Kelly asked me to talk about healthy summer travel, I was trying to figure out a way of making it easy to remember. And I came up with this idea of using the 5 Ps to plan for healthy summer travel. So these include prioritizing your goals, predicting any challenges, having a pre-plan, putting it into practice, and then of course, proceeding with grace and enjoying. And so what we're going to do is use these 5 Ps. We're going to have a couple examples from a nutrition and an exercise perspective that walks through these 5 Ps and how this could work for you, and then some ideas and strategies as well. So we're going to start off with prioritizing our goals. So what you want to think about are the healthy habits that you currently have that you feel are keys to your success in regards to your health, how you feel, any health conditions that you might have. These are the habits that you've put into place that have a positive impact for you. And thinking about, what these might be, not only from a nutrition and an exercise perspective, but maybe also including behavioral or mental health strategies that have a positive impact as well. So Kelly and I kind of came up with a little bit of a list of some things that you might include, things like eating breakfast, maybe exercising for a certain amount of time each day per week, or a certain number of days if you're gone for a week, including healthy snacks, meditating, staying well rested, and you can add your own individual ones. Now, while you're on vacation or traveling, you may not be able to, or you may not want to duplicate your exact routine. So what I would encourage you to think about is maybe picking a handful, maybe a couple habits that you feel are important to stick to that will help you stay on track while you're away from home. So what we did for today is we picked 2 nutrition and 2 exercise habits. So we're going to focus on eating healthy snacks. We're going to limit eating out. We're going to work on exercising at least 3 days for 30 minutes. And we want to try to include some strength training. The other things are still important, but we feel like while we're gone, we just need to narrow it down a little bit and focus on these 4. All right, so Kelly's going to take us through our second P.
So predicting challenges is the next, excuse me, is the next step in this process of planning for successful travel. So you have to think about what might get in the way of you following through with your plan, being able to anticipate what keeps you from staying on track. And some of those things may be challenges that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, but there might be some things that are specific to your travel plans. So thinking about how can you stay on track by preparing ahead for these predicted challenges. So some of the things that you might encounter as barriers to staying on track. Maybe you tend to use vacation as an excuse to have high calorie, high sugar, high fat snacks readily available. You know, I'm driving in the car, so I have to have these chips or these candy bars on my way, or as you stop at rest stops and gas stations, and you tend to pick up those kinds of things. And those aren't things you normally do, but vacation gives you that permission, if you will, to maybe eat differently. You have snacks in the car to try to stay awake, or maybe you use your kids as your excuse. You know, well, I have kids in the car, I need to have Doritos. That might be your rationale. Sometimes people use vacation as an excuse not to exercise. Well, I'm on vacation, so I deserve this time off. I could take a break from my normal routine. Maybe you just lack a schedule. You're not sure. You want this vacation to be really relaxing and not to have anything on an agenda. And so you're not putting exercise there. You're not thinking about when you're going to eat your meals and planning like you normally do. Perhaps on your vacation, you haven't thought through how you might be active, how you might, you can't take your treadmill with you on vacation. You can't take your dumbbells with you. What are you going to do? You just have no idea of how to think about that, how to plan for that. Maybe you just don't feel like planning meals. You know, again, sometimes we get in vacation mode and we just start to think about, well, you know, I can be on vacation and I'm just going to take a break from everything. You don't want to clean up the kitchen. You don't want to go to the grocery store. So you're just going to eat all your meals out while you're on vacation. And maybe just being in an unfamiliar environment is a little intimidating to you. So these are some of the challenges that Angela and I thought of that might come up for you. But certainly I would encourage you to think about your own challenges. Think about what might become a barrier for you when you're trying to stay on track with your goals for your vacation time.
All right, so now we're on to our third P, which is the pre-plan or the planning. We've decided on the key habits that we want to focus on, and we've identified potential barriers or challenges. So now we're ready to make our plan by setting some goals. So the first key habit that I chose was eating healthy. And so my goal is I'm going to plan to pack healthy snacks for travel and to also then have available once we get to where we're going. So then I started thinking about what might be all the snacks that I like, that are easy to pack, to have on hand. You could also include options that you might consider to be higher in calories or higher in sugar. If there's something that you really enjoy, I think it's important to remember that all foods can fit in what we might consider a healthy diet. So thinking of all of your snack ideas, not that maybe you're taking all of these things with you, but we're coming up with, these are the things that are potential options for the healthy snacks while I'm in the car, or if I'm flying on the plane, and then once I get to where I'm going. With my second healthy habit, I wanted to limit eating out. And so in order to do that, I needed to decide how many meals do I want to eat in, or how many meals am I willing to plan to have at wherever I'm staying. So my goal was, I was going to plan for breakfast daily. I was going to plan for 4 lunches and 2 dinners to be eaten in. I want to go out sometimes, but not all the time. I think also by eating in some, it does allow for a little slower pace, which a lot of times is what we're looking for on vacation. We want to kind of be on our own schedule. We want to be able to, by eating in, we can eat when we're ready to eat. We don't have to worry about, leaving the activity that you're doing early to go get ready, to maybe then have to drive somewhere to wait for a table. So it could free up some extra time that you could spend doing something else you enjoy, and also saving some money along the way. Then I, like with the snacks, I thought through, what are some potential options for this? So some easy, quick breakfast ideas, some lunch ideas. I like leftovers. Not everyone likes leftovers. These could be leftovers from your dinner that you make in. It could be leftovers from when you go out to eat. And so thinking, okay, if I'm going out to eat, can I just take half home and have that for another meal? That also helps with portion control and calorie control, if that's important for you during the day, to split those meals and kind of spread it out a little bit more. And then dinner ideas. The thing here is keeping it simple. We want to make it as easy as possible, but things that we like to do or like to eat and enjoy. Maybe we use some disposable cooking options, like disposable foil pans, that we don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning up the kitchen. The idea, again, is just keeping it super simple.
And then thinking about pre-planning for exercise, one of the goals that we chose to focus on was planning to exercise on 3 days of your vacation, including at least one planned active adventure as a family. And you wanted to be sure to pack your workout clothes and walking shoes, which tends to be a pretty common reason why people don't exercise, because they didn't plan ahead, or they want to take a walk, but they forgot their tennis shoes or their walking comfortable clothes. So having that strategy to plan ahead and bring the clothes that you're going to need to exercise is going to be an important piece of this too. I think when we're trying to plan ahead for exercise, it's important to add exercise into your itinerary. If you're planning a vacation and you have some things that you are planning to do, you're going to visit, monuments or be in a park or something like that, you want to look ahead and plan and put exercise onto your itinerary, so that it's just something that you check off as you go throughout your vacation days. Researching exercise options ahead of time, before you go on a vacation, especially if it's somewhere you've never been, you're going to spend a lot of time looking for hotels and where to stay and what restaurants you should go to, and reading reviews and looking at, who got the 5-star reviews for the restaurants and the hotels. Why would you not go ahead and look for exercise options in that planning phase as well? I was thinking through some active adventure ideas. If your family is one that likes to do active things on your vacation, these are some things that could burn some calories and count for exercise, helping you stay on track with those active goals. Looking for walking tours is a great idea. There's lots of bus tours and Segway tours and things like that. But a walking tour lets you see the sights. You're going to spend a little bit more time there and be immersed in the culture and the environment that you're in, enjoying the beach time or the city blocks, wherever you happen to be. But you're adding steps to your Fitbit, and you're able to burn some calories during that as well. Whitewater rafting, if you're a little bit more adventurous, that might be something fun to do as a family. Kayaking, horseback riding, and hiking. paddle boarding, great core strength needed for that, and snorkeling. So those are just some ideas of active adventure things that you could do as a family on your vacation that would count as exercise. So I think sometimes going into a vacation, you have to remember that activity or exercise doesn't have to be in a gym. Exercise can look different when you're in a different environment. And so giving yourself permission to do something that is not something you always do, but it's active and it can count for exercise. The next goal for exercise was to incorporate some strength trainings. We know the benefits of strength training. We know it's important. And perhaps that's something you've been doing consistently through the last 3 months, 6 months, a year. And now you're going on vacation. And it's easy to get off track. And sometimes people struggle then once they get back from vacation to resume the healthy habit that they were doing. So again, pre-planning, thinking ahead, how am I going to make sure that I strength train on at least 2 days of my vacation week? So remember, as you're thinking about the strength training pieces, and really anything, is that it is okay to do less than what you had planned or what you usually do. Doing something is better than nothing at all. You're still going to benefit from shorter duration of exercise. You're still going to benefit from shorter or lower intensity exercise. So doing something is obviously going to be better than doing nothing at all. This might be a good time to shorten your workout so you're not spending as much time in the day to get the workout in, shortening the workout, but maybe you increase the intensity a little bit above what you normally do. This might be a great time to try some interval exercise where you do a little short, lower intensity bout of exercise intermixed with some higher intensity bursts of exercise, giving you some great benefits, just like you would at home, but in maybe a shorter amount of time. So some of the ideas that you can take with you for strength training on the go, looking for a hotel. When you're doing your research, find a hotel, look at the gym space. Do they have some equipment available there that you can use? Get up early in the morning, get it out of the way, that you don't have to think about it. It doesn't interfere with what your family has planned for the day, and you've got the workout in. And oftentimes after you work out in the morning, you have increased energy, you're going to feel good, and you know it's done. You can check it off the to-do list. Packing resistance bands is always a great idea. You're not going to want to throw your dumbbells in there, but if you can throw some resistance bands in your suitcase, it's very easy to do your strength training in your hotel room or in your Airbnb. There's tons of online resources like yoga videos, Zumba videos. There's all kinds of things you can do there for exercise. And then even body weight exercises like push-ups and squats and lunges, planks and dead bugs and bird dogs, and the list goes on and on. So lots of things that can be done pretty easily with very little equipment when you are traveling. So thinking about that, thinking ahead, how can you make this work?
All right, we're on to our fourth P, which is putting the plan into action. And so thinking about, okay, now what do we need to do to make it happen? And we're ready to buy and pack snacks and beverages for travel. I would encourage you to try with your snacks to pair up protein foods and carbohydrate foods. This can help provide some fullness to keep you from getting too hungry, help maintain energy and blood sugar levels. A lot of times when I talk about pairing up proteins and carbohydrates, I like to use a fire analogy, where the carbohydrate foods, like a piece of fruit, for example, is like newspaper to the fire. So it burns hot and fast, but not for very long. And the protein foods like nuts or peanut butter or string cheese would be like your logs on the fire. So they burn longer and more steady. And so by putting those two things together, you get good sustainability and good blood sugar management as well. Some examples back from slide 8, I had some examples of this where it was like popcorn and string cheese, or blueberries and some walnuts, graham crackers, and a little bit of peanut butter. And so kind of trying to think in that direction. for your snack ideas. And then you might consider pre-portioning the snacks out to prevent mindless grazing, especially during travel. You know, if you're stuck in the car, there's nothing else to do, you've got the bag of whatever opened beside you, it's easy to just kind of mindlessly graze through that, not paying much attention to how much you're actually having. If there's food that you're going to take with you to have once you get there, thinking about how you're going to get it there. And if it's cold food, it needs to stay cold. Keeping it in some type of cooler. It's going to stay colder longer if you pack the cooler with cold foods to start with, and then ice to the very top. So packing a cooler full will help keep it colder longer than half full. With coolers and food safety, you should ideally keep that at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or less. So the kind of danger zone, the USDA says the danger zone for bacteria growth is between 40 and 140. So trying to keep that cooler nice and cool. You might think about separating drinks away from food that you're trying to keep cold, so that you're not continually opening the cooler, because that will also cause the temperature to drop more quickly. You want to keep that cooler in the air-conditioned car versus in the trunk of your car. And then if the trip's long, thinking about, do I need to stop and get more ice? Do I need to replace ice packs along the way to keep those foods nice and cold as you travel? Creating a grocery list to have ready when you get there. So if you're thinking, you know, you get there and you're going to need to go to the grocery, maybe you make the list ahead of time so that you're ready to go. You're not trying to do that once you get there, or haphazardly going through the store trying to think of what you might need. You might consider using the grocery pickup options or a delivery option, either from the store itself or using a third-party vendor that would deliver groceries. I can tell you on a recent vacation, we did this. We had groceries delivered. I let them know what time we were showing up. I got to pick a window when they would deliver the groceries. We showed up at 4 o'clock. Groceries were delivered by 4:30. And we had the rest of the evening to spend on the beach instead of in the grocery store with all the other people who were just arriving on that day as well. So it significantly decreased the stress of getting in and getting what we needed to kind of settle in for the week. And then, you know, again, consider utilizing those disposable options, plates, utensils, pans, just to help with that cleanup. If part of, you know, why you're wanting to be on vacation is you don't want to have to do all the work and all the cleanup. And so it's okay to utilize some convenience items while you're gone to kind of help reduce that stress as well. And then lastly, if you're planning to eat out some, maybe you look this up in advance, like Kelly mentioned, you know, kind of planning for that exercise, also looking through those restaurants, looking for the ones you might want to go to. Maybe you even consider making reservations in advance, so you have that done and out of the way, and you can get the time that you want to go to dinner, versus showing up at the restaurant and then finding out you have to wait 2 hours till you can have a meal. And then looking at the menus in advance, maybe deciding a couple options that you want to choose between that you'd like to try. This gives you time to look over the menu, decide which choices might fit best with whatever your goals are, and not feeling rushed in the moment when you're at the restaurant and hungry.
And then some strategies for putting an exercise plan into action. The first one is to look into local fitness classes. There's lots of opportunities out there. Lots of places have these try your first class free locations, so you could explore if you've never tried a jazzercise class or a spinning class or the Orange Theory. You know, this might be a time that you want to try something new and fun, and you can do the first class for free at a lot of those locations. Some gyms have reciprocal membership availability. Some YMCAs, for example, you could go, you belong at your local YMCA, you could go to a YMCA in the city where you're vacationing. And then there's a website called ClassPass, which I think is a pretty cool option. You sign up for ClassPass, you pay a fee to get like punches, and then so many punches are good for different fitness classes, and it's hundreds of fitness options, everything from strength training classes to yoga, to Zumba, to just all kinds of things out there. And it's a website, and they'll show you by the map of where the locations are, what's available. There's lists of opportunities with ClassPass. So that might be something that you explore for a vacation in a different city that you're unfamiliar with, if you're looking for that type of exercise. There are lots of online options, so you can download streaming options for exercise. Looking for any type of exercise that you like, you're going to find it online somewhere. I personally like and recommend a lot of times for people Leslie Sansone. If you've never heard of Leslie or done her walking videos, they're fantastic. They're really designed for any fitness ability, and have everything from 15-minute walks to hour-long walks, and at multiple different paces, and you're walking in place. You don't have to go outside. You could do it in your hotel room, or if the weather was bad, you could stay inside. So Leslie Sansone walking is a nice option, especially traveling. Maybe you just like to walk, and you can plan in your vacation to just walk more. So looking for those opportunities to walk in the airport, to plan walking tours, like I mentioned earlier, using stairs instead of elevators or escalators, downloading trail maps, and take a hike around the area. So being mindful of ways that you can just add more steps and walk more. And then you can always look for exercises that are disguised as fun. So oftentimes we think of exercise as something we have to do. Maybe we start to think of exercise as something we get to do and something that we enjoy doing. And so looking for fun things that you can do, or things that you can do as a family: swimming, playing in the water, renting bicycles, taking a bike ride, something like that. So think about those things that you can do to put this plan into action so you can stay on track with your goals for your vacation.
And now we've arrived at the final P, proceeding with grace, and of course, enjoying. I encourage you to share your goals. If you're traveling with other people, or staying with other people in advance, let them know kind of, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and ask for help. Get input on snack ideas. Have everyone pick their favorite snack and try to include that, or divide the tasks. So if you're staying with maybe other families, or even within your own family, have everyone plan a meal that they could then make. I know we like to have our kids plan a meal that they work together to make. And again, keeping it super simple. It does not have to be a whole involved meal, but something just easy and simple. Remind yourself why you picked the goals that you did, why those habits are important to you. There's some reason that you felt it was important. Do you feel better when you include these? Do you experience less pain? Are doing these things allowing you to stay off medications? Do you find that you have increased energy, that you sleep better at night? So thinking of, why is it important that I continue with these even while I'm away from home? Working to stay motivated with exercise by using some type of wearable fitness technology that maybe tracks steps or minutes or calories burned, can help, you see, am I still, reaching my goals, even if I'm doing maybe activities that I don't normally do when I'm at home. And then managing your expectations and being realistic. Oftentimes, I think our own expectations of how things should go or be is what sets us up when things don't go as planned or as we think that they should. Sometimes that leaves us feeling bad or guilty, or like we want to just give up and say, why bother, doing this? It's hard, when I'm away from home. And I know Kelly and I both have used the flat tire analogy when we kind of talk about this. And that when you're driving your car, let's pretend we're driving our car down the road and we get a flat tire. And generally speaking, most people pull off the road and go about getting the tire fixed. They fix it themselves. They call someone in to fix it because they have places to go. They can't sit on the side of the road all day. And most people don't jump out of the car and automatically flatten the other 3 tires, deciding that they're just maybe no longer a driver and they're just destined to hang out on the side of the road for however long. So, your health goals are the same. Things sometimes don't go as planned, and that's okay. You can always decide, what's the next right thing to do? How do you go about fixing the tire so that you can keep moving forward with your goals? And so, being really realistic when you're thinking about how all this might work and that you can always move forward. You may not execute your plan exactly, but you'll likely do things better or differently than if you didn't plan at all. And the overall goal is just increase mindfulness, decrease stress, and being able to enjoy your time away from home. All right, we've included some resources on the last slide. I believe Kelly is going to send out a copy of the presentation, so you should be able to just click on these links and it take you to the handouts or the resources. So OSU on their patient ed site has some great resources on snacks and meal planning and mindful eating. And then the Your Plan for Health site has lots of great resources. In the fitness resources, they have downloadable written workouts, as well as a YouTube playlist of on-demand fitness videos, Buckeye Breaks, which is a 5-minute movement and stretching option. And then in the Stress Less Center, they have an option called Just Breathe, which is breathing techniques to help with relaxation and stress management, and then some guided imagery and mindfulness audio exercises that might be helpful as well. Hopefully, we've given you some useful strategies and some resources to help maintain your health goals if you're planning to travel. I think we might have time for a few questions. Kelly?
Yeah, so if anybody has some questions, you can put them in the chat. I've enabled that. So go ahead and put those in there while people might be typing. I just want to remind everybody that our next session, because of the July 4th holiday, will be the second Tuesday in July, so July 11th. So please join me then. I'll be hosting that webinar with Lori DeShetler, one of our physical therapists. She'll be talking about strategies for successful behavior change. She's a board certified health coach, as well as a physical therapist. So she'll have some great strategies for making successful behavior changes. So I hope you'll join me on the 11th for that. So I don't see anybody typing, so maybe no questions. But thank you, Angela, for joining me tonight to present this great topic. And thank you all for attending, and we'll hope to see you all in July.
Thanks, Kelly.